Hi, you are listening to a podcast by Turningpoint Leadership. Through inspiring stories, we will talk about leadership development and executive coaching. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Beryl Marjolin. I'm a Turningpoint coach and a passionate explorer of what helps us feel in greater balance and gain inner freedom in our lives. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the body and suggest ways in which we can better inhabit this home of ours. This subject is particularly close to my heart because I'm very tall and had to wear a back brace from the age of 5 to 15. So naturally, as an adult, I felt a need to reconnect with my body, to regain ownership of it, after it had been constrained for so long. This personal experience and my work as a coach show me every day how beneficial it is to use the body to reduce stress levels, better connect with oneself, and from there, with others. I'll address this topic in 3 points. First, how paying attention to sensations in our body helps us get through our emotions. Then, we look at how we can draw on the body's unfathomable wisdom to approach our decisions differently. Finally, we'll see how being fully present in our body nourishes our relationships with others. Being present in our body, paying curious attention to our physical sensations, is an invaluable aid to coping with our sometimes stormy emotions. But then, what do I mean by being present in our body? Let's take an example. You know this moment at 3 a.m. when we lie awake, unable to go back to sleep, when we find ourselves looking for sleep in vain while our current preoccupations have literally hijacked our night. I, for one, have found a solution to these moments of nocturnal disarray. I get out of bed to do a body scan on a yoga mat. This is a mindfulness exercise proposed by John Kabat-Zinn in his MBSR stress reduction program. It involves slowly scanning the sensations in the body from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. Let's try it, just for a few moments, right where you are now. Paying attention to the gentle movement of the breath and letting the body settle breath by breath. Anchoring yourself in the ground if you're standing. Relaxing in the chair or mat if you're sitting or lying down. Releasing tensions wherever possible. From the feet, up the legs, through the pelvis. Feeling the belly gently inflating and deflating. The chest. The back, moving your attention down the arms, all the way to the fingers. Coming back to the shoulders and neck, moving to the head, and feeling the entire body just as it is right now. For me, it's the miracle remedy. I return to my bed and go back to sleep like a baby. Turning its attention to the body, my head has let go of its goal of sleeping, and I can finally rest. This is what I call being present in our body. Emotions cannot be soothed through reasoning. On the other hand, paying attention to the physical echo of an emotion and feeling the breath circulating through the body allows us to get out of the whirlwind of thoughts. Then, aware of ourselves, we can let the emotion flow through, quite physically. It's as if we were opening a space for it to express itself. And then it no longer takes up all the room inside ourselves. We're no longer overwhelmed, but better able to listen to what the emotion is telling us and act accordingly. In your opinion, which response is generally the best adapted? The one found in this state of self-awareness, or one that would emerge in the grip of emotion, as they say? I'll let you guess. I remember Laurie, a young entrepreneur I was coaching at a crucial stage in the development of her business. She arrived one day in the grip of a very overwhelming anger towards one of her shareholders. She wouldn't stop ranting, going around in circles, looking in vain for a solution. We took the time for her to sit down with this anger, to let her observe where the emotion was physically manifesting. Imagine the breath coming to soothe her tight throat, her contracted shoulders. After a minute or two, the tension relaxed, and Laurie was able to get through the emotion to keep only its powerful energy and find the best solution to her problem. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, the body is like our lifeline on a ship. You know, the strap to which sailors tie themselves to carry out maneuvers without going overboard. By turning our attention to our sensations, we find an anchor, a space from which to choose our response to the events in our lives. As we've just seen, the body is very useful in the heat of the moment, helping us to regulate our reactions and act more appropriately. But as the seat of our intuition, it also helps us make well-considered decisions. You know, those moments when you make a choice and say, I don't know why, but I feel it. So, we can approach an alternative with our minds, listing the pros and cons of each option, setting up scenarios. And we can also approach it through our body, questioning our bodily sensations as we project ourselves into one option or another. Last year, I accompanied William, a financial director who was looking for his next position. The first offer took him to southern France to work for a new, fast-growing company. The second was to take a permanent position in the company where he had just finished a 6-month temporary contract, which had gone very well. William was frantically weighing up the pros and cons, torn between the two options. So I asked him to visualize his daily life in each option and to ponder what he felt physically at the prospect. He was then able to feel the pull to pursue his adventure where he had done his interim. The body more relaxed, more alive, energized at the prospect of the day's work there rather than in southern France. Try this the next time you have to make a choice. Write down each option on a post-it note, then place these notes on the floor, spacing them slightly apart. Standing at some distance from the post-its, first take a moment to refocus and relax your body, breathing quietly. Then stand on the first post-it note, breathe, feeling the body as you visualize the option in question. Step away from the post-it, take a deep breath as if to clear away the sensations that manifested, and move on to the next post-it, repeating the operation. It's quite possible that your sensations will vary from one option to the next, and that you will feel your body coming more alive on one or the other. A fuller breath, perhaps, more relaxed shoulders, an opening in the chest, or any other sensation of greater energy on one option rather than another. To rationally weigh up the pros and cons is to call upon the conscious wisdom accumulated through experience. To go through the body is to access that other, unconscious yet very real wisdom known as intuition. 2 solid pillars on which to base our decisions. So, whether it's a question of quickly getting through a strong emotion or making a wise decision in the longer term, the body is a sure way of reconnecting to ourselves and choosing our actions in the world. We'll now see that the body is also a marvelous pathway to connect to others, since it enables us to get away from the projections and interpretations that so often undermine our relationships. First, let's take a moment to consider how our brain works. This marvel of evolution is indeed a magnificent simulator of stories built around our experience. You know, that little voice that accompanies you everywhere, comments on everything that happens to you, and turns your life into a novel in which you're the hero. If I hadn't acted this way, then of course things would have unfolded differently, and it would have been so much better. And why did so-and-so say this to me? It's probably because he thinks that, so I should have given him this answer, etc., etc. Sounds familiar? Note that these stories, which add a subjective layer to what is actually happening, are often geared towards negative interpretations. It's logical. As mammals, we filter the information we receive from the environment to identify threats and try to protect ourselves from them. As a result, we naturally tend to simulate the worst-case scenario. The downside of this scenario, however brilliantly simulated it may seem, is that it increases our stress levels and cuts us from the lucidity that would enable us to respond in the best possible way to what's happening to us. I'll give you an example, taken from the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Saying I'm broke is very different from saying my bank account balance is $50. I'm broke is a story, which seems to leave only few ways out. My balance is $50 is a fact that describes a situation that certainly isn't brilliant, but still leaves us free to work out a strategy. In our relationships, it's the same. In parallel to the conversation, and sometimes even without our awareness, we elaborate 1,000 interpretations and projections about the person we're talking to. And if the conversation gets heated, we risk getting locked in our mental constructs, forgetting to really listen to what the other person is saying. Paying attention to your breathing during a delicate conversation. Feeling your feet rooted in the ground as your chest and head soar towards the sky is a way of coming home, of settling into a space of stability, of security, from which you can be here, present. You can then stand serenely before the other person and not only speak your truth, but also, and perhaps above all, listen to theirs. Then, from this recovered stability and ability to listen, a constructive and respectful exchange can begin. As a conclusion, I've mentioned the body as a lifeline in the emotional turmoil of our busy lives, as the realm of intuition and an aid to less cerebral decision-making, and finally, as a safe and familiar space from which we can better connect with others. Inhabiting the body, settling fully into it in all circumstances, as if we were coming home, is a tremendous source of balance and freedom. Less stressed, we become better able to choose appropriate responses to events in our lives. Walks in nature, meditation workshops, dance, singing, or yoga classes. What could be your path back into your body? Unless you simply get into the habit of visiting your senses from time to time during the day. The body tells you about what you're going through, and it's an ally as precious as it's unfailing. Thank you for listening, and see you soon.